Hello, everybody. Welcome in here tonight. We're going to have a little update on the winter storm that is moving in and developing across the region tonight. It is going to bring significant impacts across portions of the state of Illinois, actually a very large portion of the state of Illinois. We're going to see some significant snowfall accumulation across portions of kind of the central southern Illinois area, upwards of maybe anywhere from, if you live far enough north or far enough south, maybe only a couple of inches, but right there, kind of in the heart of Illinois, north of the I-70 corridor up in the parts of central Illinois, you could see as much as maybe anywhere 5, 8, 9, 10, 11 inches of snow across the heart of Illinois. And then down there for you folks across southern Illinois, we're going to be looking at significant ice accumulations. Pretty much an ice storm is expected across southern Illinois. Anywhere maybe a quarter to a half, maybe quarters of an inch of ice accumulation looking quite possible across southern Illinois with this winter storm. Not only are we going to see snow and ice, we're also going to see some sleet as well across the southern portion of the state as well. So a couple different wintry precipitation types on the way here with this winter storm coming up. Now, this is the first live video weather discussion that we have done since way back in July. It's been a little bit busy on our end here, so we've been a little bit silent. We haven't been doing a lot of these video weather discussions. Like I said, the last one we did was way back in July, so this is the first one in quite a while, but it's definitely needed. And jumping into it here, we do have this winter storm here developing across the region tonight. So this is the regional radar view here out of the central United States. And you can see we have quite a bit of precipitation developing here across the plain states here, all the way from the Dakotas down through Kansas, down even into Texas. And that precipitation is starting to move towards Illinois. Now, much of this that you see on the radar right now across Illinois, much of that is not reaching the ground yet because it's a little bit dry right now. But as that precipitation aloft keeps precipitating, it's eventually going to kick that dry air out, and that precipitation will eventually start reaching the surface here within the next couple of hours here across western and southwestern portions of the state. So if you're in places like Quincy, the St. Louis area, for example, you should start to see that developing precipitation start to reach the ground here over the next couple of hours. But as you can see here, we do have widespread wintry precipitation here in the region. There's been quite a bit of ice today across Kansas and Missouri. A lot of freezing rain accumulation across those areas. The airport here in Kansas City has actually been closed for a portion of today due to the ice that they're getting out that way. And like I said, that's all part of this developing area of low pressure that's kind of down here, developing right in the vicinity of the Oklahoma, Texas Panhandle region. And this area of low pressure is pretty much going to move due east. And I'll actually show you this in the weather model guidance here coming up in just a minute. But this area of low pressure is going to move pretty much due east. And on the front side of it, there's a lot of Gulf moisture that's coming in here, which is why we're going to see a very expansive area of precipitation develop, which will impact the state of Illinois here coming up, like I said, from tonight all the way through late in the day on your Monday. So getting over here to a couple of our weather forecast models, I'm going to show you the GFS model, and I'm also going to show you the Euro, or the ECMWF, the European model here. So starting off here pretty much right now, you can see, as I mentioned, we do have that area of low pressure developing down here, right in the panhandle area of Oklahoma and Texas. And once that area of low pressure develops, it is going to scoot off in an easterly direction here. And you can see all this developing precipitation that I just showed you on the radar from the Dakotas down through the Arklatex region here. And what's going to happen here is as we go through the night tonight, stair-stepping forward to the early morning hours on Sunday here, you can see this area of low pressure has now started to move eastward along the Oklahoma-Kansas border. You have a lot of precipitation that has developed and become quite heavy on the front side, the northeast side, and also the north side of the storm system here. You can see there's a lot of blue and purplish colors and red colors in here. That's all the snow, sleet, and freezing rain that's going to be occurring. So as we, like I said, work through later tonight and into the morning hours, that precipitation is really going to start to move into parts of western, southwestern, and southern Illinois here. And let's just get a little bit closer so you could actually see what I'm talking about here on a much more regional level here for the state of Illinois. So, starting off here, this is right about current time right now, right around 9 o'clock tonight right now. As we get towards midnight, 3 o'clock in the morning, and then 6 o'clock in the morning, as I mentioned, you can see that heavier precipitation really start to blossom and work into southern portions of the state here. So by the time we get to early in the morning, it's snowing probably in places like the Quincy area. The St. Louis area, you could have a mixture of precipitation. You're going to be very close to the dividing line in the St. Louis area between the freezing rain, the sleet, and the snow. So you could see many different precipitation types down in the St. Louis area. By the morning hours, the Paducah area, you're starting to see a mixture of freezing rain and sleet as well. So as we work through the mid to late morning and the middle of the day here, you can see how that precipitation really expands here and now encompasses much of central and southern Illinois here by the time we get to late morning and middle of the day on Sunday. It is snowing in places like Quincy. It's snowing out there towards the Macomb area, maybe up towards Peoria, maybe up towards Bloomington, Lincoln, Springfield, Champaign, Danville. All of you folks are seeing snow as we work through the later morning, midday hours on Sunday. The St. Louis area, you're right in that mixture of a little bit of snow, sleet, and freezing rain. It's going to be pretty messy down there along the I-70 corridor around the St. Louis area with those multiple types of wintry precipitation down there. Then down here across southern Illinois, you see this reddish color and also that purplish color. That's that sleet, and that is that freezing rain. Like I said, southern Illinois, you're going to be dealing pretty much with an ice storm, but you will get some snow and sleet out of this as well. So working deeper into Sunday afternoon, this is right around 3 o'clock Sunday afternoon. Look at all these darker colors here. The darker red, the darker kind of lavender color, and then the blue here. That's that snow, sleet, and freezing rain that's going to continue into the afternoon on Sunday and right into the evening hours as well. This is right around 6 p.m. Sunday evening here. We're starting to see that freezing rain sleet combination start to wane just a little bit on this particular model. This is the GFS model. You see that snow continuing pretty much from I-70 up here into parts of central Illinois, getting the snow even into Sunday evening. Continuing into Sunday night here, this is right around midnight Sunday night going into very early Monday morning. Our area of low pressure now down here across parts of Kentucky as it continues to shift off towards the east. We have snow here ongoing across a good chunk of the state of Illinois. St. Louis is now getting the snow, still snowing up here for you folks in parts of central Illinois. And you folks in southern Illinois, you're going to switch from that sleet and freezing rain from Sunday morning that you're going to see into Sunday evening. You'll eventually switch over to snow as we work into Sunday night and Monday morning down there across southern Illinois. And working deeper into Monday morning here, you can see that snow, just as I mentioned, southern Illinois, still up into parts of central Illinois, snowing here as you move into Sunday morning. And you'll notice this band here. This band of snow coming off the lake into southeast Wisconsin and northeastern Illinois. That is lake effect snow. We are going to be seeing some lake effect snow here on the northeast side of the storm system, anywhere from later in the day tomorrow, which is Sunday, and into early in the day on Monday. We're actually going to see some lake effect snow here, and there could be a couple of inches of lake effect snow across portions of northeastern Illinois with this. But continuing on here into the middle of the day on Monday, you really start to see much of the state has dried out by the middle of the day on Monday, except for one area, and that's where that lake effect snow may continue into Monday afternoon across northeastern Illinois, maybe a couple of lingering snow showers as that main storm system departs. And then as we work through the day on Monday, you can see that lake effect snow eventually does shift off here into Indiana as we move later into the day on Monday and Monday night, and the winter storm completely comes to an end across the state of Illinois. Now, quickly switching over here to the European model, it's pretty much the same story. Not too much of a difference overall in what we are expecting here. As you can see, precipitation starts to move in overnight tonight and into your Sunday morning across western, southwestern, and southern Illinois. May even start off as a little bit of snow across southern Illinois before you see it switches over to that red and purple color, which is that freezing rain and sleet as we work into the morning hours on Sunday, deeper and into the middle of the day. You see that snow midday on Sunday expanding across central Illinois. As we continue into the evening hours here, you can see how that precipitation continues. Central, southern Illinois, starting to see that lake effect snow across northeastern Illinois Sunday night. Into early Monday morning here. You can see that lake effect snow still. Snow starting to wrap up Monday morning across southern Illinois. And then as we continue on here into Monday during the day and Monday evening, the winter storm comes to an end and the lake effect snow comes to an end as well. So, with that said, you probably want to know what the precipitation totals are looking like. So here is our current snowfall forecast. Now, this is the forecast that you may have seen on our social media pages earlier today. So this is what was issued late this morning. We are going to have another update to this within the next couple of hours. We do have some model data that's coming in here as we speak right now, and we're going to take a look at that. So this map you see on the screen right now is from the update late this morning. We are going to have another update here within the next couple of hours. And as you can see here, we are expecting moderate to even heavy snowfall accumulations across portions of the state. One thing that I want to point out is you can see that lake effect snow that we're expecting across northeastern Illinois. If you're in parts of Lake and Cook County here, you might see as much as 1 to 3 inches of snow. We're still monitoring the situation with the lake effect snow up there because depending on how things work out, if we see a stationary band of lake effect snow, do we see a band that wavers around a little bit more? That'll kind of determine on how much snow we see with the lake effect. It's not going to be a big lake effect event because the lake parameters are not as good as you'd like to see them for a big lake effect snow event, but the parameters are good enough in general to get, it looks like, a couple of inches of lake effect snow, like I said, across parts of northeastern Illinois up into southeastern Wisconsin. So if you're in parts of Cook and Lake County in northeastern Illinois, you could get perhaps 1 to 3 inches of lake effect snow as it looks right now, and that would continue up into Kenosha area and up into the Racine areas as well in southeastern Wisconsin. You could pick up a little bit of lake effect snow from later tomorrow and into early Monday as well. But as you can see, the heaviest snowfall accumulations with the winter storm itself will be down here across parts of central and southern Illinois here. So anywhere in this bright pink shaded area out here across sort of western, southwestern Illinois, between St. Louis and Quincy here, across this corridor, you could see 8 to 11 inches of snowfall accumulation. If you're in this darker purple color here, including the Effingham area, for example, you're likely to see 6 to 9 inches of snow. If you're in this lighter purple, almost light lavender color here, that's where you could see 4 to 7 inches of snow within that color. The dark blue color here, that is 2 to 5 inches of snow. You move up from there, 1 to 3 inches of snow north of there. And then as you get further north, probably only a dusting of snow. And the same deal as you go further south as well, down towards the Paducah area, you might only get a dusting of snow. But as you work further north from there, such as the Carbondale area, maybe 1 to 3 inches of snow and sleet on top of the ice that you're expecting. And then snowfall totals will rise as you head up towards I-64 and eventually up towards I-70, which runs right there. So in terms of snowfall, if you're in that I-70 corridor, which is right here, or if you're in that, I believe it's the I-72 corridor here through Springfield and the Champaign area, that's kind of where the heaviest snowfall is going to be. And that also includes the I-57 and I-55 corridors from Springfield to St. Louis and Champaign to Effingham as well. So some of the major interstates, if you live in any of those areas, you're going to see some of the more significant snowfall as well. Now, another thing we're going to be dealing with is significant ice accumulations as well. And as you can see here, the ice is pretty much going to be expected across the far southern portion of the state. So essentially, this is I-70 right here, coming from St. Louis to the Indiana border. So pretty much from around I-70 down to the southern tip of the state of Illinois, that is where your ice accumulations are going to be with this winter storm. And as you can see, the heart of the most significant ice accumulations will be down here across southern Illinois, including places like the Carbondale area. We're forecasting anywhere from 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch of ice accumulation across southern Illinois. So this could be a significant ice event down there. This is the type of ice accumulation where you get widespread tree damage, you get widespread power outages, you're obviously going to have travel issues with slippery roads, probably some road closures in some cases as well due to the ice that you're expecting down there across southern Illinois. And then additionally, we're going to have some sleet down there across southern Illinois. So not only are you going to see snowfall accumulation, ice accumulation, but you'll see some sleet accumulation as well. So multiple types of wintry precipitation on the way with what is pretty much going to be a significant winter storm, because when you start dealing with snowfall totals that are approaching 8 to 10 inches, near a foot in some areas, and when you're dealing with ice accumulation of 1/4 to 1/2, maybe 3/4 of an inch, that's when you're starting to deal with more of a significant winter storm for some areas across portions of the state here. So, with that said, enough rambling on my end. Let's get to the video chat tonight. See if we could get to some of your comments and questions that we might be seeing here. Angel checking in from the Rockford area. Yeah, Rockford is going to be high and dry. Nothing going on up across that area. Carly mentioning the HRRR model is showing different. Yeah, there's many different weather models that we follow, that everybody follows, and they all show different things. None of them are going to be completely right. There is usually almost never a time that a weather model is going to show you fully 100% exactly what's going to happen. All right, Mike checking in from Effingham. Nothing happening down there in Effingham yet, but it will be heading your way from very late tonight and tomorrow morning all the way into early on Monday. Sue checking in from the Moline area out there in the Quad Cities. Maybe we could get a little bit of brief snow up there if some of the weather models are correct. The more northern models are correct. You might get a little bit up there. Right now, we don't have it in our official forecast, but there are, believe it or not, I know it's probably not surprising, but the weather models are still not in agreement on what's exactly going to happen. They usually never are. We go through this pretty much with every snow event or snowstorm or winter storm, whatever you want to call them. We pretty much go through this with every event. The weather models almost never fully agree with one another. You have ones that are further north, ones that are further south. You have some that have heavier precipitation, some that have lighter precipitation. Weather models are not perfect. It's not a perfect science. And they all differ. Their physics packages are different, so their output is different. And, it's never fully 100%. It's just sort of a guide. Weather models are pretty much a guide to give us an idea of potential outcomes with winter weather and severe weather events. Pretty much any weather event. They're a guide to give us an idea of what potential outcomes there could be. And it's our job to put together all those weather models, kind of blend them together, throw out the bad ones that we know are going to be inaccurate, but kind of blend together all of them and come up with these forecasts. So our forecasts that we make are never based on one weather model in particular. Usually we take them all together, we weed out the bad ones that are clearly going to be wrong, and then we blend them together and come up with our forecast. That's pretty much how we do it. That's how the National Weather Service does it. That's how any good forecaster does it. You don't just stick with one model and go with it. You kind of blend them together because, like I said, they just print a picture of possible outcomes. They're never going to be fully right, which is why weather forecasts are never usually fully right, because it's all a guessing game. No one controls the weather, even though some people think we do. We don't control the weather. So it's pretty much a guessing game of trying to nail down a potential outcome that the best we can off of what the weather models are predicting. Lisa, wondering if there's any possibility for a blizzard warning tomorrow in parts of Illinois. Unlikely. We are going to have some gusty winds, maybe on the order of 25 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts from the middle of the day tomorrow through the middle of the day on Monday across parts of central Illinois. Now, that's not high enough wind to get you a blizzard, but it will be enough wind to cause maybe some blowing and drifting snow for you folks of central and southern Illinois that pick up some decent accumulation, and it will be enough for you folks in southern Illinois that are picking up that significant ice. You start getting winds of, 25 to 40 miles per hour on top of that heavy ice that's weighing everything down. You folks down there are going to be dealing with some widespread tree damage and power outages across portions of southern Illinois. Jeff checking in from Palos Park. Long time since we've seen you, Jeff. Hopefully everything's well up there. Yes, it looks like you're going to get a little bit of lake effect snow, hopefully around your way. David checking in from the Aurora area. Not going to be expecting too much around your area. Maybe a little bit of light or very minor snowfall and a little bit of accumulation around your area. Just checking in from the Bloomington area. Yep, you're going to get a little bit of snow around your area. You're very close to that 1 to 3 to 2 to 5 inch snow line. So that's going to be a little bit variable snowfall around your area. Lisa checking in from the Quincy area. Yes, you look set to pick up quite a bit of snow out in the Quincy area. And you can see here, the county that Quincy's in here, anywhere from 8 to 11 inches touching the southern part of the county, just south of Quincy, to 4 to 7 inches on the north end of the county there. So some of these counties across central Illinois, you could see quite a spread of snowfall accumulation over a very small area, especially once you get up on the north end here, with very dry air blowing into the north side of this storm system. We could be dealing with one of those situations where we see a very razor sharp snowfall gradient up here. It could be one of those situations where you go from 6 inches of snow on one side of a county to maybe only a dusting on the other side of the same county. So there could be a very sharp snowfall gradient up there. That's something we are definitely going to be watching on. Amy checking in, wondering when our next update is going to be. So right now, we're starting to get the evening weather model guidance is coming in as we speak right now. So we're going to take a look at that, and we're going to have another update here, post it within the next couple of hours. So be on the lookout for that. And that's going to be our final forecast. So that next update we issue here within the next couple of hours, that's going to be our final forecast. And then we're going to go into update mode. So throughout the winter storm, we'll continue to update what's going on in real time when we get to that point. Mark checking in from the McHenry County area. Maybe a little bit of lake effect snow on the eastern portion of McHenry County, but shouldn't be too much up around that area. Emily wondering about school cancellations for Monday. Honestly, school cancellations are really hard to determine these days because many schools actually just switch over to remote learning days now instead of actually having snow days. So it's not like, back many, many years ago in the 80s and the 90s and even into the 2000s when we, used to have real snow days. Now, these days, a lot of schools, like I said, just switch over to having e-learning or remote learning days instead. So it's really hard to say if you're going to get a school closing or not these days. See a couple more folks, such as Ashley checking in here from the Quincy area. Yeah, Quincy is in line for quite a bit of snow out here. Like I said, on the north end of the county, you could see 4 to 7 inches of snow, and then on the south end of the county line, just south of Quincy, maybe 8 to 11 inches of snow. So for the Quincy area proper, I know it's a little bit hard to see because this map is zoomed out here, but Quincy proper, we have you in the 6 to 9 inch range at this time, but that 8 to 11 inch range is just knocking on your door very close by. Debbie checking in from down in Cumberland County. Yes, you're going to be getting this wintry weather down there as well. Deb checking in from the Jacksonville area. That's just to the west of the Springfield area. You're in line for about 6 to 9 inches of snow in the Jacksonville area as it looks on this particular forecast at this moment in time. We have Tim checking in from the Pontiac area. Yep, we have you getting a little bit of snow as it looks at this point in time up around the Livingston County, Pontiac area as well. Marianne and a couple of others here I see checking in from northeastern Illinois, the Chicago area. Yeah, once again, if you're in the Chicago area, you're really not going to see much of an effect from the winter storm itself. But with these northeasterly winds off of Lake Michigan, we are going to be dealing with some lake effect snow. And that's going to really start to kick up later tomorrow, more so during the evening, and then into tomorrow night, and then also continuing into Monday morning. That's when we're going to be looking for that lake effect snow. Now, as of right now, for that lake effect snow across northeastern Illinois, as you can see, we're only expecting a dusting in the lighter blue color to 1 to 3 inches in parts of Cook and Lake County. But we have to see exactly how potent that lake effect snow band is, and does it sit over one area for a lengthy period of time, or does it sort of waver around a little bit? That's sort of an unknown right now. So for right now, like I said, we're going with 1 to 3 inches of snow here across parts of Lake and Cook County. However, if we continue to monitor things and if things look a little bit better, we might have to up that snowfall accumulation forecast maybe a little bit for that lake effect snow up across that area. All right, Rick wondering, any chances of drier and warmer areas coming in from the southwest for areas north of I-70? No, we're going to be dealing with a pretty cold and dry northerly flow on the north side of this storm system, so we are without a doubt expecting a pretty nice area, a pretty sizable area here to have mostly snow across this corridor. Now, as you get far enough south here, once again, I'll flip back over to the ice map, but if you're below this line, you will get a mixture of precipitation. There's going to be snow, sleet, and freezing rain south of that line. And let's go back over to that freezing rain forecast once again, and you can see here, we're going to be dealing with those significant ice accumulations here, pretty much south of I-70 and north of the Paducah area, anywhere from a quarter to a half, maybe 3/4 of an inch of ice accumulation down there across parts of southern Illinois. Zach checking in from the Monmouth area out there in western Illinois here. You're going to be getting some snowfall accumulation out there across that western Illinois area as well. Anywhere from a couple to several inches of snow out there across the western Illinois area. Greg, thank you very much. Bryce, is it possible it shifts? Yes, it's always possible it shifts. As I went on a little rant a couple of minutes ago, weather is not a perfect science, and the weather models are not perfect either. Each weather model runs off of a different physics package. So even though all of the different weather models ingest the same satellite data, the same weather observations, the same weather balloon data, they all take that data in, but because they each run on different mathematical physics packages, the output, what they create with that data, is always different. And the weather models are never going to be 100% accurate for every single place, whether it's across the state of Illinois, across the country, or across the world. Weather models are never going to be exactly perfect outcomes of their output. What they show is never going to be 100% accurate. They just give us potential outcomes in different scenarios, whether it's winter weather, severe weather, flooding, whatnot. They give us potential scenarios at what could happen. We take all that weather model data together, we blend it together, we throw away the bad weather models that are pretty clearly going to be wrong. We blend that data together, and then we come up with our forecast. Now, yes, there are a lot of different outlets that have different forecasts. If you go to the National Weather Service, their snowfall forecast is a little different than ours. If you go to the Weather Channel, their snowfall forecast looks a little bit different too. A lot of it has, not only do we take into account the weather models, but a lot of it has to do with confidence as well. If we think there's low confidence in a scenario, we're going to start off low instead of going high right away. While other outlets, whether it's news media or other social media weather pages, they might have higher confidence right off the bat and want to show you high snowfall totals right away. But then what if the weather models change? Then you have to backtrack. So what we usually do here is we like to start off lower with our forecasts. And then as confidence grows and the weather models potentially come together into better agreement, or as good agreement as you could potentially see, we start to stair step up our forecast. So for example, in our first snowfall forecast that we issued last night, if you happen to see it, this area was only in the 4 to 7 inch range. However, in this morning's forecast map, which is the one that you're seeing right now, as confidence has started to grow and as weather models have started to come to better agreement a little bit more, that has allowed us to increase our snowfall forecast a little bit more here. So that's kind of how we do things here. We'd like to start low, and as we get a little bit closer, and as weather models start to agree a little bit more, and as our confidence grows, we increase things. We like to do it that way, because if you start off high right away and things change and you have to backtrack, then everybody complains that you were terrible, you did it wrong, you busted, and more likely than not, you're going to fail if you start off high, because you're likely going to have to backtrack. So like I said, we start low and we bump higher. So for example, you were asking if things could change or shift north. Yes, things could still change. It is possible we might have to increase snowfall totals still. It's possible we might have to lift this north. It's possible we might have to lift it south a little bit. Things are ever changing with the weather. It's never a perfect science, like I said. So forecast will always change. They could even change during the storm system. Now, we typically don't change our forecast once the event starts. Usually we like to issue our final last forecast right before the storm starts. So like, for example, here, I mentioned a little while ago, we're going to have our final forecast out here within the next couple of hours, because we want to get that out right before the storm starts, and then we're going to switch over to real-time update mode. However, as that storm's still ongoing, things still do change. So that's just how it works overall. That's just a little spiel about that. Romiella checking in from the Galesburg area. Yes, you are going to be dealing with some of the snow up that way as well, but not too much as it looks at this point in time up in the Galesburg area. Just a little bit up around that area. Jimmy checking in from Alney. At least I believe that's how I was told to pronounce it before. Back in severe weather season, we were doing some severe weather coverage, and we had quite a bit of severe weather down there in southern Illinois, and I was pronouncing it Olney, but I believe I was told that it's Alney. Probably saying it wrong again, but down around that area, southern Illinois, yep, you're going to be getting a good amount of snow. Also, you could get a little bit of freezing rain and sleet down around that area as well. Thomas checking in from Carterville. Your son lives down there. Yes, definitely going to be getting some significant impacts from that, from this winter storm down around that area as well. GA checking in from Yorkville, excuse me. Maybe a little bit of lake effect snow potentially could get that far inland out there in the Kendall County area, which is where Yorkville is. Maybe a little bit up there, but not too much overall. Mindy checking in from Decatur. Yeah, you're looking at quite a bit of snow down there in central Illinois in the Decatur area. You're very close to that 4 to 7 to 6 to 9 inch line on this current forecast. So several inches of snow out around your area. Cameron checking in from the Moline area. Really not expecting much at this point in time up around the Quad Cities area, just from Bloomington. You're right on that border of 2 to 5 or 1 to 3 inches of snow around your area. I see Taryn and a couple of others checking in from the Peoria area. You're right on the border of between 1 to 3 to maybe only a dusting of snow. So let's say a dusting to maybe 1-2 inches for the Peoria area as it looks at this point in time. Lisa checking in from Spring Valley. That's up there in northeastern Illinois. Maybe a little bit of lake effect snow for your area right up here. Spring Valley's kind of right up around that area in northeastern Illinois. Maybe a little bit of lake effect snow for your area. James checking in from Streeter. Not expecting too much from down around your area. Maybe a little bit of minor snowfall accumulation right around your area. Lori checking in here, wondering if there's any other weather events on the horizon after this storm. There might be something next weekend, but honestly, that's still a week away, so really not going to touch on that at this point in time. All right, let's see here. Kaylee checking in from the Kankakee area. At this point in time, looks like very, very, very minor snowfall accumulation, if any, around the Kankakee area. Maybe a dusting or so of snow. Melissa wondering about the 15th to 17th of January. That's a little bit too far out to discuss at this point in time. That's still well out there at pretty much the week and a half to 2 week range at this point in time. All right, and let me switch back over to the ice accumulation forecast because I do not want to focus so much on the snow here because the ice is going to be very significant once again down here across southern Illinois. Pretty much from the I-70 corridor here. Let me pull that back up here. So this is the I-70 corridor here. So you have St. Louis here, and it runs up through Effingham right here, and then to Indiana. So pretty much south of the along and south of the I-70 corridor here, down to the southern tip of Illinois. This whole area here, you're going to get quite a bit of ice accumulation, perhaps up to a quarter to a half to 3/4 of an inch of ice accumulation down there across southern Illinois, including places like the Carbondale area. This could be a significant ice storm across southern Illinois, and we're talking about ice accumulation where you could see widespread power outages and widespread tree damage down there with those type of ice accumulations. So definitely could be a fairly significant ice storm down there across southern Illinois. So definitely going to be significant down there. And then once again, we're dealing with the snowfall accumulation. Then there's going to be sleet as well. Southern Illinois, places like St. Louis, Effingham, even down to Carbondale and Paducah, all down there. You could have some sleet at times as well. And sleet is those little white crunchy balls. They bounce. They're very loud. They're white. That is sleet. So that's what we could be dealing with. We could even have some ice pellets as well. So the difference between sleet and ice pellets are sleet is white, kind of little crunchy balls. It's loud when it hits objects, whereas ice pellets are pretty much very small chunks of ice. You know, they look like ice, they're smaller than pea size usually. But ice pellets are pretty much very, very tiny ice chips, very tiny. So that's the difference between sleet and ice pellets. Sleet is white, it's crunchy, it bounces, you could smush it. Ice is like very, very tiny, tiny little ice pebbles. They're both loud. They both accumulate in the same way. Ice pellets and sleet both accumulate. They're both measured like snow. But it's harder for ice pellets and sleet to accumulate because they're very small, they're very dense. So it settles and compacts quite a bit. So it's harder to get several inches of sleet accumulation compared to several inches of snowfall accumulation. Because snowflakes obviously range in size. Sometimes it's fluffy snow, and it stacks up much easier, which is like compared to, like I said, sleet. Little round, dense balls. They're white and very... the compacts quite a bit, a lot of moisture in sleet and ice pellets. But they are measured in the same way and same fashion as you would measure snowfall. Jerry checking in from the Pittsfield area. Yes, you are going to get quite a bit of snow out there in western Illinois here. We have you right in that 8 to 11 inch snow area out there in the Pittsfield area. So quite a snowstorm heading your way out there across western Illinois. Corey checking in here. Yes, ice storms are way more dangerous because with ice storms, you have the threat of the power outages and the tree damage. Yes, I know that sometimes in big snowstorms, you could get power outages and maybe some tree damage as well. But when you're talking about a quarter to a half, maybe 3/4 of an inch of ice Ice storms usually cause way more widespread power outages, and they cause much more tree damage, sometimes significant tree damage. And we're talking about cold temperatures in place, and behind this storm system, there's going to be some colder temperatures filtering in as well. So if we see widespread power outages across southern Illinois with this ice, it's going to be a big problem with some colder air moving in behind the storm system. Logan wondering how long is it going to snow? Depending on where you live across parts of central southern Illinois, it could start snowing late tonight or early tomorrow morning, and it might not stop snowing until the Monday morning or Monday midday period. So for some areas of central Illinois, southern Illinois, it could snow for 24 to 30 hours straight. So that's why we're expecting these snowfall accumulations and sleet accumulations for some areas. Patrick wondering about the lake effect snow in northeastern Illinois. Yes, once again, we are going to be dealing with a northeasterly fetch of wind off of Lake Michigan here. Now, the lake parameters, there are different parameters that we look at. Instability, for example, water temperature, delta T, which is the temperature compared to the surface all the way aloft. Moisture values, equilibrium values, cloud height, all that. There's so many different things to look at for lake effect snow, and the parameters are not the best. So that's why this is not going to be a huge lake effect snow event in northeastern Illinois, but there's enough there to definitely get some lake effect snow, and that's why we have some accumulation forecasted here across northeastern Illinois. Anywhere from a dusting in this very light blue color to perhaps 1 to 3 inches in parts of Lake and Cook County here. And there could be some locally higher snowfall amounts than that. We're still looking at the data, so it's possible those snowfall totals, possible totals could change in this corridor. Lake effect snow coming in here. That's going to be starting later in the day on Sunday and then continuing into early in the day on Monday. All right here. John checking in from the Earlville area. Not expecting too much out around your area. Maybe a little bit of brief snow, but not expecting too much around your area as it looks right now. We have Monica checking in from the Milford area. That's out there in Iroquois County. That'd be out here in eastern Illinois. Depending on where you live, if you live on the north side of the county, not expecting too much, just maybe a dusting to an inch. If you live along the south end of the counties, though, out there, Ford, Iroquois counties out there in eastern Illinois, you could pick up maybe closer to the 2 to 5 inch area as you work towards Champaign, maybe closer to 4 to 7 inches of snow as you work south of Champaign, and then as you head down the expressway here down to the Effingham area, we have you in the 6 to 9 inch range, for example. Mackenzie checking in from the Decatur area. You're definitely going to be getting in on the snow as well around the Decatur area of central Illinois. As of this update, we have you very close to that 4 to 7 to 6 to 9 inch range right there. So for Decatur, I'd roughly say maybe 5 to 8 inches right now. But like I said, we're going to have our final update here coming out within the next couple of hours. So that could change on our next update. Joshua wondering if lake effect snow could make it as far inland as Naperville. Maybe a little bit, but it'll most definitely be better production of lake effect snow closer to the lake in Lake and Cook County. Brittany checking in from Quincy. I know we've had a couple of folks check in from Quincy, and that is a good thing because you folks are going to get several inches of snow out in the Quincy area. If you live on the north side of Quincy, up near the county line, north of Quincy, you could get 4 to 7 inches. In Quincy itself proper, you could get 6 to 9 inches. And then south of Quincy along the county line, we have you in the 8 to 11 inch range as of this particular update here. Timing for the Bloomington area, your snow, if it gets up in your area here, Bloomington area will be more towards the midday tomorrow into the middle of the day on Monday as well. All right, continuing on here, a couple of more. We have Patty checking in here from Arinsville. That's down there in the Cass County area, not far from Jacksonville. Yeah, you're going to be picking up that significant snowfall accumulation out there as well. We have you right in roughly the 6 to 9 inch range out there, not far from the Jacksonville area. And that corridor is going to get the heaviest snow, pretty much Quincy down through Springfield. Just north of the St. Louis area, Effingham. This is where the heaviest snowfall accumulation is going to be here. And I say roughly across the heart of Illinois. Yes, I know if someone were to tell you the heart of Illinois, you'd be kind of thinking in that corridor here. So that's why when I say kind of roughly the heart of Illinois, kind of in this range here is going to be where you're going to be seeing that heavier snowfall accumulation right in that area there. Alex checking in from the Danville area, just to the east of the Champaign area. We have Danville very close to that 2 to 5 to 4 to 7 inch range, so somewhere right around that vicinity for the Danville area. Monica traveling to Chicago. I'm not sure where you are traveling from, but much of the day tomorrow is going to be perfectly fine in northern Illinois. Northeastern Illinois, Chicago area, that lake effect snow will not start up until later in the day on Sunday, or more so Sunday night and into the Monday morning time frame for that lake effect snow up in northern areas. All right, couple more questions here. Carl checking in from Bunker Hill. I've chased out in that area once before. That's just to the north of the Edwardsville area, which is just to the north of the St. Louis area. And we have you right in the vicinity of that 8 to 11 inch range, kind of right out here. That's right around where you're located. So you're right in the bullseye for where we're going to be dealing with that heaviest snowfall accumulation right around that area. Taking two more here really quickly. Bourbonnais, which is right around the Kankakee area. Maybe a little bit of minor snowfall accumulation around your area as of this particular update. And lastly, we have Christopher checking in from the Irving, Illinois area. That's not too far from the Vandalia area, just to the northwest. And you're right in that focus for the snowfall as well. Pretty much right, right in this vicinity there. Right now we have you in 6 to 9 inches at this point in time. See a couple folks tuning in here really quick from the Chicago area. Yes, once again, if you're in the Chicago area, you're going to miss the winter storm itself for the most part, but you will get a little bit of lake effect snow, maybe a little bit of system snow, synoptic snow, but you're going to be dealing with some lake effect snow across northeastern Illinois. And once again, that's going to start up late in the day on Sunday and then go into early Monday as well. So that will be a wrap on this update at this point in time. Let's just recap things really quick. Once again, we have a significant winter storm, and I know it's not going to be significant for everybody. If you're in northern Illinois, you're probably like, why do these people keep saying a significant winter storm is coming? Well, it's not for you in northern Illinois. This is central and southern Illinois. This will be a significant winter storm that starts up tonight, goes through the day on Sunday, and through a good chunk of the day on Monday as well. By the time we get to this time, Monday night, it'll be wrapped up and totally done across the state. So, starts up tonight, much of the day Sunday, into a good chunk of the day on Monday. We're going to be dealing with this significant winter storm. And once again, we're going to be dealing with significant ice accumulations. When I say ice, I'm talking freezing rain. Significant ice accumulations across southern Illinois here, pretty much from the I-70 corridor down to the southern tip of Illinois, including places like the Carbondale area. Significant ice accumulations, perhaps on the order of a quarter to a half inch, maybe up to 3/4 of an inch of significant ice, freezing rain accumulation across southern Illinois, which will lead to widespread power outages and probably widespread tree damage as well. We're also going to have sleet accumulation across southern Illinois, and we're going to be dealing with snowfall accumulation across a large portion of the state. some significant snowfall totals across parts of central and southern Illinois. And you can see some of the heaviest totals are going to be right here across parts of the heart of the state of Illinois here. Anywhere, places like maybe St. Louis and the north side of St. Louis through Effingham, maybe up in the Champaign, the Springfield area, the Decatur area, Jacksonville, talking places like Quincy. You are all in line for several inches of snow. As you can see out here between Quincy and Springfield, this area could see 8 to 11 inches of snow out across that area. We're also going to be dealing with a little bit of wind. We could be dealing with wind gusts of 20 to 30 to 40 miles an hour from the middle of the day on Sunday through the middle of the day on Monday, especially across central and southern Illinois. So when you combine those gusty winds with the snow and the ice, it's going to lead to some blowing and drifting snow if you're getting snow, and it could lead to more tree damage and more power outages because that wind combined with that heavy ice on everything could take down more tree limbs, cause some power outages down there. So significant winter storm tonight through late in the day on Monday across the state. And I know we have a big population center in Illinois, and that's the Chicago area. A lot of you folks tune in from there. You're going to be dealing with some especially lake effect snow. And that's going to be especially from late in the day Sunday, more so overnight Sunday night and into Monday morning, and probably ending during the middle of the day on Monday. It's not looking like a significant lake effect snow event, but it could amount to a dusting, 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 inches of snow across parts of northeastern Illinois with that lake effect snow event that we're watching for as well. So a lot going on here. Once more, we will have our final forecast update. We're going to have that out within the next couple of hours. So it's about 10 minutes to 10 o'clock right now. So we're going to take a look after this video has ended. We're going to take a look at all the model data that's coming in this evening. We're going to put together our final forecast update. We're going to have that out within the next couple of hours. And then as we move into the day tomorrow and Monday, we're going to switch over to real-time updates for what's going on in real time with the storm system. So that's how it's going to work here on our end, and that's the information we're going to provide you over the next couple of days. So with that said, thank you all for tuning in tonight. Be on the lookout for our final forecast update with updated snowfall totals that are expected, sleet and ice accumulations that are expected here. Like I said, that's going to be out within the next couple of hours, and then we'll switch over to real-time update mode. So for now, everyone, enjoy the remainder of your Saturday night and get ready for that significant winter storm for you folks in parts of central and southern Illinois.